Get outside in Pepin County. Pack up the family and visit the childhood home of Laura Ingalls Wilder. Sail on Lake Pepin. Bike the Chippewa River State Trail. Hike up Maiden Rock and throw a line in a trout stream. Sign up to win a vacation at visitpepincounty.com. We connect with Christopher Porterfield of the band Field Report. We talk influences, their latest album, Break Light Red Tide, adapting to COVID as a musician, Midwest Music Fest coming up in La Crosse, and what people can expect from their live show. You can find more conversations, food reviews, live music, and events on our website, lacrosselocal.com. I'm Amy.
And I'm Brent.
And this is La Crosse Local.
If I should go, if I should go, I'd do it for you. My name is Chris Porterfield. I was born in Minnesota. I was born in Austin, Minnesota in 1980 and grew up in Rochester, Minnesota. There was always music going on in my house. I think the first thing I really remember connecting with, like I found sort of a congruent part of my soul. I feel like I really heard music for the first time when I was listening to my dad's Simon and Garfunkel record. I mean, I was like a young teenager, but there was something about that, specifically that song America. I mean, I didn't have any business understanding any of it. I mean, I had never been to the East Coast. I didn't know what the New Jersey Turnpike was. I didn't know what any of the references were, but there was something evocative that really drew me in. And so that was the first time I remember that feeling.
Is that an album you always go back to? Is that something that you kind of revisit, or is something that you've been hitting something else recently?
Yeah, no, I can always go back to that. And that's kind of rare. I find that my tastes and interests change. Like I can tell, you know, when I've changed and the music is different. Yeah, somebody like Paul Simon is one of those people who I've been connecting with for many, many years now.
Your latest album was, Break Light Red Tide, came out in 2020. So we mentioned it before we got started recording here. I'm sure that was an interesting, recording and writing process, but it also came out pretty much right when COVID started, right?
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Yeah, I mean, really, it's just absolutely bonkers, the timing of all that and how so much of, well, everybody's life, but specifically a creative life and specifically trying to make a living in a creative life is just based on timing and relationships and how that stuff works together. So yeah, Break Light Red Tide is the fourth Field Report record. The first two records we put out on an indie label out of Brooklyn called Partisan Records. The third one came out on Verve Forecast, which is part of the Universal ecosystem. And this one, I kind of wanted to do it on our own. And so, I'd been in the industry for about, like a decade at this point. And I figured out what works for me and what doesn't. And I kind of wanted to have a swing at doing it on our own. So we recorded it on our own, created the makings of a record label that we would sort of own ourselves, and started hiring for positions and had a distribution plan and had tour dates all set. And like, it was a big sort of gulp and just jump. And then COVID. And so there was nowhere to land. And like everything, we all suffered in our own ways. But as far as like a business or an operation, like when that dropped, it just shattered. And yeah, man. And we never got a chance to perform that music. And frankly, I haven't been in a huge rush to get out and work again. Cause I mean, I don't know. I've changed in the last couple of years. The way that I feel about it all has changed. Some of the venues we used to play don't exist anymore. Some of the people that we used to work with and had a decade-long relationship with got out of the business. And it's just like, I'm I'm 40 now, and it's like, man, I don't know about the hustle. So it's kind of like I'm just starting to dip our toes back into it. Just getting together with the band again feels so good, and it's just music for the sake of music rather than trying to make a living or pay bills or whatever. Like as soon as like I kind of flipped that switch off, music started feeling like a little bit more fun again. It was a little bit more joyful. Yeah, man, I don't know. I guess we just kind of jumped right into that. But no, I hadn't been playing very many shows. I played a solo show last week, and it felt so good. And it was at a place that I'd been going to for a bunch of years, and it was a frictionless experience. It wasn't a thing where I had to try to prove something or win anybody over, or even have to believe in myself so much that it was just a real honest exchange of energy, and it was beautiful. And it made me sort of reacquire a taste for that exchange again.
We've talked to a number of artists, the negatives and positives of COVID. It seems like, one band that we talked to is also playing Midwest Music Fest, which you're playing, is this band called Politica, which I can't pronounce. But,
Polisa?
Polisa, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah. I think it's Polisa. Uh-huh.
But, they played Midwest Music Winona, and you'll be playing Midwest Music La Crosse this year. And it's just interesting to hear these sort of things that kind of, from the beginning stages to, being released and just having this big sigh once this event happened that seemed like it was just scary that we're all going to die in some ways.
Yeah, really. I mean, it was a global thing. Every single person on earth had their life and their health and their livelihood and their relationships and their hopes and their dreams impacted by it. And it really was sort of an opportunity to just have a pause and wonder, like, okay, what's my motivation for doing this? Why is it valuable? Why is it important? What do I want out of it? Do I want to continue to do it? And I don't know. I think it's a natural thing to just really take a breath and think about why we do the things we do. And I'm hoping that, I don't know. It seems like we're back into it now, and just about everybody who had those thoughts has sort of forgotten them. But I still really, it's sort of a soul searching thing. And, each time we get a chance to perform now, I don't take it for granted. It's like, boy, this could go away again. At the same time, I try to balance that with that, like, not putting too much pressure on the moment or on an audience or on ourselves, because we're all just people trying to do the best we can and connect with each other, but just sort of having that moment of gratitude within that experience is just like, be thankful for it. Don't put too much pressure on it, but be thankful for it.
Absolutely. So, you just referencing, playing a few shows recently. You have a show coming up at Midwest Music Fest in September. So you coming up around the bend here. What can people expect from your live shows? Is it something that you're getting back into it, or you're gonna have a few shows leading up to it or after it? Or
yeah, we've started having rehearsals again, and we're gonna play some stuff off of Break Light Red Tide, but we're also diving pretty deep into the catalog too. We've got a set list put together, and it's all stuff that feels really good. And we're gonna be, Field Report as a project it's taken a number of different shapes over the years. It's been like a folky project. It's been sort of an electronic project. It's been sort of an improvisy project. We're sort of in this era of just reconnecting with what it feels like to be sort of our version of a rock band. And it's really fun. It's really satisfying. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I think we've got a nice festival set worked up. We might do a couple of things before and after. I've got a decent solo tour in the works for kind of immediately after too. Midwest Music Fest is going to be probably the main thing we're preparing for right now.
So what else is coming down the road? Is there anything you're particularly excited about, or just trying to get this thing off the ground again?
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of hands to push a rock, Solo touring is really easy. It's easy to say yes to that. It's easy to be nimble with it. And so I've got some of that. I don't think I'm supposed to announce anything yet, but there's some cool co-headlining stuff coming up in the fall. During pandemic, I started playing pedal steel. That was like the main receptacle for my creative energy over pandemic. So I just kind of threw my brain and my body at that for the last couple of years. So I've been doing a bunch of stuff with a couple different country bands and some sessions, playing with a couple folk singers here in Milwaukee. And it's been really fun to just kind of be a side player with that. But it's also just such an expressive instrument and such a rewarding and magical thing. There's nothing else that makes those sounds. And so I'm also sort of defending the calendar a little bit to do some of that just because it feels really good.
Checking out your music the last couple of days and videos. Looks like you did a few live streams during the pandemic as well. You guys got a Bandcamp, you got the Facebooks, you got all the different sites. What's the best avenue for people to follow along on?
I guess maybe Instagram is probably the thing that gets updated the most. Yeah, still trying to figure out how to turn on all that other stuff again. Like I said, man, it's like coming out of a coma, or like just like learning how to walk again. I don't know. I feel like post COVID is then like being back in the music business side of things is like going to physical therapy or something. I can't remember the last time I updated my website. And I stopped using Facebook entirely, but I should probably turn that back on again. I don't know, man. You're catching me at a weird time. I'm just starting to gas up the lawnmower for the season,
Well, that's awesome. Well, people can still follow you on Instagram or social media. And so when you're ready to post something, they'll get the updates.
I mean, it sounds so stupid to be like, oh, I don't know. Something changed, man. And like, it's kind of only about the music for me right now. I don't know. And that's kind of a sabotaging thing to say in this moment in culture. But man, I don't know. It's like, I don't want to sell stuff. I just want to go play music for people that want to hear it.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see you at Midwest Music Fest. It's going to be a great 2-day event.
It really is. I've been hearing a lot about that festival in particular over the years, and the fact that it's like, I love the regional focus of it. I mean, and it's great we've got a bunch of friends in Minneapolis, folks that are going to come down. Some Eau Claire bands are playing, and it's going to be just a great chance to see a bunch of these bands that we've been hearing about over the last couple of years, finally see them in person. Like, sometimes festivals can be overwhelming and it's just a lot, but this seems like it's got such a specifically curated point of view that it just is really fun, and it's going to be a blast. And La Crosse is a great town to hang out in and have fun in and see music in. Just good energy. I don't know, man. It's going to be fun.
La Crosse Local Podcast is a production of River Travel Media. Do you have an interview idea you'd like to share with us? Message us on Facebook at La Crosse Local. Find out more about us at lacrosselocal.com. And you can subscribe to the La Crosse Local Podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you like us, rate us 5 stars. We appreciate it.